We all know that possessing a weapon doesn't make you a Patson. But what about the most powerful weapon ever created? Today, I'm going to show you some truly powerful guns. How about a pistol capable of piercing tank armor? And this one is for home defense.
Punt gun. The punt gun. The purpose of the punt gun is obvious: to shoot as much game as possible. Indeed, it yielded quite a lot. For example, you can find reports of dozens of geese or ducks shot with one blast from a punt gun. They appeared probably somewhere in the 18th century and became widespread in Britain, America, France, Belgium, and other countries. Punt guns were made both by individual craftsmen to order and by arms manufacturers. In the Russian Empire, they were made in Tula and Ijevsk, which is, in principle, where I'm from. The caliber of the weapon could vary greatly. There were punt guns from 12 to 42 gauge, with mentions of even 50mm guns, which essentially makes them artillery pieces. Accordingly, the dimensions of the weapon itself also varied. The length of one punt gun could exceed 3 meters, and the weight reached several dozen kilograms. The parts of the gun had to be quite massive, since a considerable amount of gunpowder was required. There were cases where the barrel burst, leading to injuries for the hunter. The first models were naturally muzzle-loading, but later breech-loading ones appeared. The hunting process itself with a punt gun, such hunting is also called punt gunning, happened as follows. First, the hunters had to approach a flock of waterfowl as stealthily as possible. The gun was fixed in the bow of a flat-bottomed boat, hence the name, and the hunter himself lay down on the bottom and used oars to guide the boat, aiming the punt gun. Hunting was typically carried out in groups, where besides the shooter with the punt gun, there were others armed with regular guns. They helped finish off and collect the downed prey.
AA-12. The AA-12 rightfully deserves to be considered one of the best automatic shotguns. It was highly appreciated by U.S. Marines. Furthermore, they were installed on unmanned autocopter helicopters and on the turrets of Hammer protection systems. This weapon has also appeared in cinema. In particular, the main character of the film The Predator was armed with such a shotgun, as was one of the characters in the film The Expendables. The self-loading AA-12 shotgun provides for two types of magazines, a box magazine for 5 or 8 rounds and a drum or disc magazine for 20 or 32 rounds. In 2000, the production rights for the AA-12 were acquired by the American company Military Police System, which planned to equip the U.S. Army and police with this shotgun. It was after this, in 2004, that these guns were adopted by the Marine Corps. They were created in 1981 by Maxwell Atchison based on another of his inventions, the Atchison Assault Shotgun from 1972. The very idea of creating semi-automatic shotguns arose among American designers after the Vietnam War, where shotguns had proven themselves very well at short distances, in dense jungles, and indoors. Such was the weapon of the Cold War era. Modern weapons had to be different. They wanted to achieve a higher rate of fire, and the most effective way to achieve this is automatic reloading. That's when the idea of developing an automatic shotgun appeared.
600 Nitro Express. The legendary hunting cartridge .600 Nitro Express was developed in 1901, and its production began in England in 1903. The cartridge was rightfully called the most powerful hunting cartridge in the world. The .600 Nitro Express, with a bullet weighing 58.3 grams and a diameter of 15.8 millimeters in a case 76 millimeters long, with a powder charge of 6.48 to 7.1 grams, had a muzzle velocity of 594 meters per second and developed a pressure of 2,200 kilograms per square centimeter. During the First World War, the British used rifles chambered for the super-powerful .600 Nitro Express hunting cartridge to hit targets behind shields in trenches. The stopping power of this ammunition was recognized by most hunters as even excessive. Few would agree to shoot a weapon of .600 caliber. Despite the enormous weight of these rifles, the recoil for an untrained person can be unbearable. It literally knocks the weapon out of your hands. However, when the bullet hits, even not in a vital spot, an elephant, buffalo, or rhinoceros loses the ability to move for 5 to 20 minutes. This time is quite enough to finish off the animal with a second shot from a lighter weapon. KPV. The heavy machine gun KPV, despite its respectable age, remains the most powerful automatic small arm to this day. Just consider its caliber, which is no less than 14.5 millimeters. Its bullets, weighing 64 grams, are capable of penetrating armor up to 32 millimeters thick at distances of up to half a kilometer. At ranges up to 1 kilometer, even 20 millimeter armor cannot withstand the fire of the heavy machine gun. On modern armored vehicles with fully enclosed armored hulls, the machine gun was installed in a turret alongside the coaxial 7.62 PKT machine gun. The KPV became the main firepower for armored personnel carriers BTR-60, 70, and BTR-80. Among other lightly armored vehicles, the KPV was installed on the BRM-1 and BRDM-2. A modified version of the weapon, the KPV-T, tank-mounted, is still serially produced today and remains in service with many armies worldwide. Neither before nor after has a more powerful and formidable small arm been created. The impressive firepower of the machine gun became a kind of benchmark against which the armor protection system of all wheeled and lightly armored vehicles was measured.
Anzio 20mm takedown rifle. The Anzio 20mm takedown rifle is the largest 20mm caliber sniper rifle. It was developed by Anzio Ironworks for high-precision shooting at distances of 2 to 3 kilometers. The rifle uses the high-power 20 by 102mm Vulcan M61 cartridge. The rifle is single-shot with a muzzle velocity of 1,005 meters per second. At the end of the massive cold-forged steel barrel is a muzzle brake/compensator or a powerful suppressor, which reduces the noise level to an acceptable level. Besides the 20 by 102mm cartridges, the single-shot rifle also functions perfectly with Soviet 14.5 by 114mm rounds. Reloading is done manually, and innovative optical sights, like the Takedown 20mm, allow for eliminating even concealed targets and snipers who previously seemed invulnerable to earlier Anzio 50 BMG caliber models. Furthermore, this weapon can also be loaded with AMP family ammunition, designed for a wide range of tasks, though they require additional ignition striker tubes. The Anzio 20mm takedown rifle has enjoyed great success with state military structures and private military organizations. Such a rifle can penetrate APCs, IFVs, and other lightly armored vehicles. SSK Industries .950 JDJ. This is a super rifle created by the American company SSK Industries. In fact, using the generally accepted classification, this weapon would more correctly be called a cannon because the barrel diameter exceeds 20 millimeters and its cartridges more closely resemble small shells. Only 3 examples of such rifles were made. One weighs 23 kilograms, the other 2, 50 kilograms each. The muzzle velocity is 640 meters per second, and the muzzle energy is 3,765 joules, which is 10 times more than a standard .30-06 rifle. And the cartridges themselves look monstrous. The .950 JDJ uses a .950 caliber bullet, 2,400 grains, which travels at a speed of 2,100 feet per second, using 240 grains of powder. When fired, this beast generates 25,400 foot-pounds of muzzle energy and 277 foot-pounds of recoil energy, equivalent to firing 10 .30-06 rifles simultaneously. SSK Industries was founded in 1977 by the famous designer and cartridge author J.D. Jones. It is best known for its JDJ and Whisper cartridge series.
Furthermore, SSK is a proven manufacturer of various tactical, sporting, and custom rifles and pistols.
Glock 17. The Glock 17 is the original creation of the Glock Firearms Company, released to meet the new needs of the Austrian Army in 1979. The main goal was to replace aging weapon models like the Walther P38 with a fundamentally new design. As a result, the Glock 17 turned out to be a very high-quality and comfortable-to-use development, thereby earning the recognition of the Austrian Army and many police forces worldwide. Also, thanks to its technical characteristics, the pistol gained great popularity among civilians as an excellent means of self-defense. Over the years, the Glock 17 has undergone various modifications. Since then, the company itself has released its latest Glock 17 as Gen 4, meaning Generation 4. This generation has been the most modified compared to previous pistols in this line. The checkering on the grip increased the distance between the points. Now there are 25 per square centimeter. This texture is called RTF2. The magazine release button was made larger and more convenient. Also, on the 4th generation Glock 17, they began installing 2 springs of different diameters on one guide rod with a separator between them instead of a single recoil spring. Thus, the company achieved a reduction in the pistol's recoil effect when firing and increased the service life of each individual spring.